What do you do if one day a friend, an acquaintance, a family member has said to you something on the order of, "Can you teach me how to shoot?" In this video, we will go over how to address this very critical situation. Let's talk about that. I am making this video because a longtime friend recently did just that. He expressed his concerns over the current affairs of the nation, and he expressed a desire to becoming proficient in the use of a handgun. Let's say someone you know has just approached you and expressed an interest about shooting. At this moment, you are their subject matter expert in this field. They have taken a leap of faith into the unknown, into something that probably scares them to some degree, and they have chosen you to catch them. You have just become their mentor, their tour guide into the world of loud Tai Chi. You are their chosen one, and by default, will believe and trust most everything you tell them and show them. And what do you do with this responsibility? Treat it seriously, of course. Treat it respectfully. Treat it reverently. Other than becoming a parent, this can be the most awesome moment of your life. You are, in a way, becoming a parent to this person, as in this one way, they are like a child, knowing nothing and totally curious. Teach them well and enjoy these moments together. If you do this right, you will add another person to our hobby, our passion, our way of life. You will also strengthen your relationship with them, creating a deeply bonding experience between the both of you. And there is no telling how deep their individual rabbit hole goes on this. Do it badly, and you will probably alienate this person from our world of firearms. And there's a good chance you will damage or destroy your personal relationship with them. They put their trust in you, and you betrayed that trust by making them look and feel stupid. This is why you don't put a 50 Action Express Desert Eagle in this person's hands for their first shots.
You do, and I'll give you such a pinch!
A critical point of warning before you get into this is, if you're a guy and you're mentoring a woman, you have to pay attention and work around the relationship you have with them. If it's your daughter, then it's just daddy-daughter bonding time. You need to treat your wife or your girlfriend differently than your sister, your mother, your aunt, and so on. If this female is a social friend or coworker, have them or you bring a second female as a chaperone. The last thing you need is a domestic violence charge chilling your right to keep and bear arms over a misunderstanding. And for as bad as you think it can get, believe me, there is always worse. The upside is you could end up winning both your student and their chaperone over into our sport. Before beginning anything else, the biggest applicable teaching skill you need to successfully do this is the feedback sandwich. This was the number one tool I was taught and had drilled into me when I was taught how to teach. Hopefully you're not a pompous, arrogant, and cruel kung fu master, and you are training this person as an imposition in your life. You accepted this task with the mindset of encouraging your student. The best way to do this is by the feedback sandwich. This is where you sandwich a criticism between two compliments. Serious and sincere comments, not sarcastic. A good example is, you're doing way better than the last time. You need to get better at this skill, and we need to try some different ways to see if we can get you to improve your performance. Still, you're doing better overall. Avoid the word but in such sandwiches. When you use the word but in a sentence, that means ignore everything you said before the but. If you can't use still, use however instead. I suggest this to be done over an absolute minimum of 2 sessions. It might get stretched to 3 or more sessions. It really depends a lot on several factors, like how much time you have for a session, how much detail they want, how many side conversations and off-subject chit-chat you have, or their attention span. Your first sessions are going to be at home, theirs or yours, where they feel comfortable and feel safe. The last lesson is at the range itself. Here's something for you to take to heart, mentor. This process needs to be slow, especially if your student's only firearm instructor before you has been to TV or movies. You need to keep it very simple. These lessons are not the place to discuss the esoteric aspects of striker fired versus single action, double action firearms. I know you want to, however, that will have to wait and come later after you have gotten them hooked on shooting. You should move at a deliberate pace. After all, this is not a race. Do not move past a point until your student demonstrates their comprehension to both you and themselves on that particular point. Likewise, each skill should be performed at a basic level of competence, not mastery. Rather, competence is adequate for right now. Moving too fast has significant dangers and pitfalls. Don't cut corners or move faster if they seem to infer or grasp the information. They or you still might miss something critical. You need to stop and take a break when they lose focus. You'll get that more with children than adults. However, a lot of adults have short attention spans, thanks social media. But I digress. The first step is to stress safety. Tell them flat out, you won't teach them if they don't take firearm safety seriously. That goes for you as well. You are their mentor. You are their example. Always follow the rules. Hand them a pen and paper and have them write down the 4 rules of firearm safety. Not type it on their phone. Dictate the rules to them. Have them read them back to you. Have the student post that paper on their fridge or something. You may think I'm going overboard on this. I'm not. We remember things more and for longer when we physically write them down. Verbal repetition, as in saying the rules whenever they open the fridge, also helps. As a mentor, we must ingrain safety into our student at the deepest level, which can save their life or the life of another. Second step, let's check for eye dominance and which hand is dominant. The best training aid for this is a training gun like this, unnaturally colored and no moving parts. You stand 6 to 8 feet apart and without any instruction on how to hold it, other than by the grip and finger off the trigger, have them pick this trainer weapon up by whatever hand that feels natural to them and close one eye if they can and aim it at your eye. That's probably their dominant hand and hopefully their dominant eye. Let me stress this to you clearly. Most times, shooting with one eye closed is a bad thing because you lose a lot of your peripheral vision. It's okay at this step. Both eyes open comes later. Let's avoid the mental and visual overload associated with both eyes open today. We or an instructor will address it at a later point. At this point, we want to keep it simple. Now comes another training aid. I made this from a couple of pieces of plexiglass, then put down painter's tape and spray painted them as a rudimentary set of sights. I don't do red dots, so I don't teach red dots. You can do something like this with to simulate a red dot if you want. You will still need something like this to show how the sights or red dot will move while aiming and what those results are. You then hold these at arm's length from your student and show them what they look like. Move them around so they understand good and bad sight pictures. Have them again point the trainer at you, and you will manipulate the muzzle so they can see and understand that sight picture. Now you show them how to properly grip the weapon. Web of hand, under the grip tang, dominant hand, index finger, always on the side of the weapon until they are on target. Grip tightly with either the middle or the pinky finger, not both, and then clamp down with the support hand, making sure the heel of the support hand is in the gap and in contact with the grip. Check out my video number 65, Left and Low, for more information. Have them point the trainer at a target. Let your student get used to that feel and start to establish their natural point of aim. Have them set themselves with a proper foot position. Dominant foot back a half step, nose over toes, front knee slightly bent, arms extended, elbows slightly rotated outwards, head straight up, not craned down or to one side. Have them bring the weapon up to their eye line, not their eyes down to the weapon. Now, have them close their eyes and pay attention to how their body feels doing this. Now, pull out a real and unloaded handgun. If they already have one of their own, use it because this will help them become familiar with their own firearm. Don't ever forget this. This is a critical point. Do not touch your student or the weapon while they manipulate the weapon. If they can't do something, never take the weapon from them. The person holding the weapon needs to put it down on the table and take their hands away from it before the other person reaches for it. This goes either way. When either of you pick it up, keep it pointed in a safe direction and perform a weapons check to make sure if it's loaded or not. This is the safest thing to do, especially if the firearm is live later. If you're mentoring a female, again, grabbing the weapon from them is a fantastic way to trigger an episode of PTSD. This is not a good thing. I've seen it happen. It's not pretty, and it can all go sideways in a second doing that. You, as the teacher, must always pay attention to the student's trigger finger. Make sure they do not have their finger on the trigger until they have aligned their sights up with the target. You may think this is basic, but too many people still forget this. Back to the manipulation. Check everything twice to make sure that there is no live ammunition in the room. Make sure nothing will go bang because there is nothing that can go bang. Pull out 3 dummy rounds. Show them to your student and let them inspect them so they are satisfied that they are not live ammunition. Point out and explain the trigger, the slide stop, and the magazine release. Drop the now empty magazine. Show them how you did it and let them handle the magazine. Then show and explain the slide stop. Manipulate the slide stop to lock the slide to the rear. Show and demonstrate to your student the overhand grip and a 2-finger pinch to manipulate this slide. If they have trouble with running the slide, show them how to pull it to their chest and run the slide that way. Show them how to check the mag well and chamber to make sure the weapon is empty. Drop the slide forward. Insert the empty magazine and pull the slide back again so the follower engages the slide stop. Depress the slide stop, let the weapon close, drop the magazine, and place both on the table or the bench. If you're dealing with a revolver, everything but the magazine applies. Teach them how not to slam the cylinder home like they do on TV. Now, under your tutelage, have the student repeat everything you just showed them. Have them do it until they are comfortable with it. Remember, there's no rush here. Hey, I hope you're enjoying the content so far. If you're picking up what I'm putting down, please let me know by hitting that like button. When you do that, it helps get this content to others and inspires me to keep producing content. While we're clicking on things, hit that subscribe button to help grow this channel and turn on notifications so you know when one of my new videos shows up. I appreciate all comments, so please tell me if you think I'm spot on or way off. If you really like this video, hit share and post it on your social media. Okay, back to me. Now, take the dummy rounds you have and load 2 rounds into the magazine, showing your student to their satisfaction. Loading tool such as an up-lula is optional. Have them load the 3rd round. Place the mag on the table. Have your student pick up the weapon, slide lock the weapon open, verify it's clear, load the magazine, and you want them to always do a tap and pull. Then let the slide go forward and have them do a live round check by either checking the built-in chamber flags or pulling the slide back a bit and looking, depending upon the weapon. Have them fully cycle the slide, point out the ejected round, then do another tap rack. The 3rd round is now in the chamber, so have them eject that one and point out how the weapon goes into slide lock. Have them eject the mag, drop the slide, set both on the table, police or pick up your dummy rounds. The recommended training aid for this stage is a dry fire mag. The student has to be able to pull the trigger and feel the actual resistance of the weapon and not acquire the muscle memory to rack the slide every time to reset the trigger.
Okay. Oh, I anticipated. Whoa.
No.
You don't have to rack it.
Oh.
It's cycle.
Just like a...
You don't need to rack.
Sorry, habit. Sorry.
You gotta break that habit.
Nope. Bro. No. Just keep pulling the trigger.
You just been shot 3 times.
Just keep shooting.
Okay.
All right. Like that. You're trying to Now I need some gas.
All right.
So now how do I do?
Now, how do you feel about it? You like
Feels
it?
great.
All right.
It's beautiful.
A cert or a cable tie through the barrel to keep it out of battery doesn't have quite the same trigger feel as a live weapon. Plus, there's no inadvertent laser to go into your or their eye. Avoid at all costs any recoil tools like a cool fire, because we want to train their mind and body how to hold the weapon and properly pull the trigger without the fear of recoil, no matter how slight. Before you hand them the weapon, take a small scrap of wood, about a 1/4 inch thick, about 3/4 inches wide, and about 2 inches tall. Tape it to the side of the weapon with painter's tape to help the student avoid getting their metacarpal joint or their knuckle involved while pulling the trigger and thus making the sights deviate. Now we remind them about their sight picture, their grip, and their stance, and have them aim again in a safe direction at a target and pull the trigger. Your job for this part is to watch the movement of the muzzle during the trigger press and point any movement out. Have them try pressing the finger with the fingertip, the finger pad, and the distant interphalangeal joint, that's this joint right here, to see what works best for them. And thus ends your home sessions. As a homework assignment, have them watch my video number 62 on range etiquette so they know how to dress and act at the next session. For the next session, you'll meet at the range. Start where you left off when you're in the lane with your firearm and dry fire mag in place. Set the target. I recommend a NRA B8 at 3 to 5 yards. Go over grip, stance, and sight picture. Have them dry fire several times to get the proper autonomous habits ingrained a little deeper. It's at this point you can switch to a .22 caliber pistol. Load a mag with no more than 3 rounds. Chamber a round. Set the weapon on the table. Let them pick it up, aim, and fire, just like you've taught them. After the shots, have them make sure the weapon is empty, eject the magazine, and set both down. The reason why I suggest no more than 3 rounds is this forces a pause where they can breathe and realize they did it. They fired a gun and it felt awesome. Congratulate them on their achievement. Let them savor this moment. I promise they will remember it for the rest of their lives. Write my first shots and the date on the target and present it to them. Have them keep that target as a reminder of this major milestone in their life. Now, put up a new B8. Have them load a magazine and have them perform an effective distance drill. Don't tell them this is a drill or a test. Set the target out and tell your student you want them to put 3 rounds on the target. Take their time. You use the same target and you run it out 3 yards, 5 yards, 7, 10, 15, 20, and 25. You pull the target back in and check it after every 3 rounds. You stop when there is a hit outside of the 8 ring. This drill gives an idea on how inherently accurate your student is. After your student has shot each range, while you are pulling the target back in, ask them how they felt about those shots and where they thought they hit. Get your student to understand how they felt while they were gripping, aiming, and pressing the trigger. How the sight how the front sight moved, if it did at all. When they think they are ready, move them up to a 9mm. Again, you're here to practice slow, deliberate fire and instill safety, confidence, and accuracy. Nothing more. The flashy stuff comes later. And remember, you are not here to shoot. You're here to teach them to shoot. Demonstrating to them the basics is one thing. If you show off and do a 3-second build drill or an El Presidente,
You do, and I'll give you such a pinch.
after this comes the hardest part, letting go. Encourage your student to seek training from a professional instructor, either a basic handgun class or one-on-one private training. Like the first stage of a rocket, you got them off the ground and moving in the proper direction. Yet you can only take them so far because you're not an instructor and someone else has to take over. And if I accidentally implied it, this is not the end of your range sessions together by any means. Make getting together a regular event. It gets you both practicing live fire and hopefully dry fire at home so you can become accountability buddies. And the both of you can bring other friends and acquaintances into this relationship and maybe even expand it into an impromptu accountability league. Once you've gotten them hooked about shooting, it's time to introduce them to the responsibilities of shooting, which is cleaning the weapons afterwards. Like I said in video 69, cleaning helps you know the inner workings of your weapons. The reason why I said earlier you don't show off in front of your student is because at this critical juncture, you performing way above their performance level is the quickest way to crush their hope and enthusiasm for shooting. At this point, with less than a box of ammo under their belt, they probably can't even conceive or hope that they will ever shoot at your level, even if you're an intermediate shooter yourself. I used to play Warhammer 40K, and too many times I see a kid with a basic half-painted army ask for a pickup game with someone else at the store. Too bad the player they asked has a professionally painted, highly tuned, ultra-efficient, beardy, min-maxed list that he runs with brutal and callous efficiency over the newbie and wipes the kid out with zero effort. If you're that kind of mentor or accountability buddy, my only words to you are,
What is your major malfunction, numbnuts?
being chosen to help someone start their journey to become an armed citizen is a rare and delightful honor. Cherish and nurture that moment. Get them going in the right direction, then let them go so they can get the help they need to get better. Stay with them as well to build and deepen your relationship. Y'all have yourselves a wonderful day. If you made it this far, thank you. If you liked this content, please hit the like button to show your support. Help me get the word out by subscribing to my channel, and don't forget to turn notifications on so you know when I post new content. If you think this content would help your friends, the share button helps you get it out to your social media. Comments mean a lot to me, good or bad. Please leave one. All right, go forth and have a most excellent day.